Okay, a prophet of God. And what's interesting, not only is he now prophesying against Baasha, he also prophesied against Asa, king of Judah. Isn't that interesting? So he's prophesied against a northern king, and he's prophesied against a southern king. Wouldn't it be interesting to be a prophet in those days? Okay. Take, for instance, somebody tell me a little bit about Amos. What was Amos's job? What did he do? Anybody know? He was just a tender of sycamore trees. Okay, that was it. He was just a man like we are. Okay, he just had a job. He went out. He tended sycamore trees, and just think about that. You're a man of God. You're making a living. You're supporting your family. You're doing your thing, and then all of a sudden, God comes to you. Right? The Spirit of the Lord comes to you and starts speaking to you. Hey, Vic. I need you to leave them trees, man. Well, where do you want me to go, God? I need you to go talk to the king. Is it a good message or is it a bad message? Well, it ain't good. It's not good. And here you are, you're just a little peasant in the community, and you've got to go stand before a king and prophesy his doom. Can you imagine? And you could obey God or you could disobey God. It was your choice. Did you know that? And yet these men fearlessly, boldly did what they were supposed to do and confronted these kings, didn't they? Thank God for them. And very, very tough situation. For as much as I exalted thee out of the blank, dust, and made thee a blank over my people Israel, a prince. Oftentimes, individuals who have humble, unknown beginnings are exalted to positions of power, aren't they? If you just go back and you do some study in the lives of the presidents of the United States, there's only been how many? 47. There's only been 47 men who have, just think about that. We're not even up to 50 yet. Okay? 47 men who have been president. Go back and read the humble beginnings from which they came. Almost all of us know a little bit about the beginnings of Abraham Lincoln, don't we? He came from nothing. Okay? Absolute nothing. Some of them were very unschooled. They educated themselves. All right? Their parents were not well-known figures. Their parents were not in politics. None of that stuff. In fact, the further you go back, the more from the dust these individuals came. You know that? Now we've set up a political structure, and it's kind of, we anticipate who's going to be next, don't we? That's not all the ways the way it was. And when it came to kings, guess what? Sometimes God just raised up a man out of the dust like David and set him upon the throne of Israel, did he not? Did David have a humble beginning? Oh yes, just a shepherd over Israel. Wow. Somebody read Proverbs 8:16. Proverbs 8, verse 16. Y'all aren't turning very fast.
Princes rule and nobles, even all the judges of the earth.
Hear that? God's speaking. He starts at the very first. By me, princes rule. By me, princes rule. Wow. Notice what the text says. For as much as I exalted thee out of the dust and made thee a prince over my people Israel. True or false? Did God know the kingdom would be rent into Yes. And he had told Jeroboam prior to it happening that I'm going to make you who? I'm going to make you a king. And he did, didn't he? And what did he tell Jeroboam? He said, I expect you to walk after my ways and to do my will and to be obedient to my covenant. Didn't he? So even though the kingdom was going to be split, God looked at both nations equally, didn't he? Having two kingdoms, as far as God was concerned, it would be okay as long as both did what? As long as they... That's exactly right. And so the very moment that God set up Baasha as a king, guess what? He expected him to do what? Walk in those ways and obey his will. And guess what, folks? Anybody in any position of authority, anywhere in the world, God expects that of them. Do you know that? It doesn't matter whether it is in the home. Doesn't matter whether it is a teacher at a school. It doesn't matter whether he is a mayor, a city councilman, a governor, or the President of the United States. God sets those people in power. And guess what God expects? God expects those people to seek His will in all things. In all things. And we just don't think about that very much. In whose ways did Baasha walk? And thou hast walked in the way of Jeroboam. Man. I put this down. When new leadership comes into power, oftentimes very little changes. Isn't that true? I find it interesting, especially in the United States. We worry so badly over who's going to get elected president, don't we? You know, I mean, we just go in rigors. And, you know, for us, we people, and I mean W-E-E, we little ones, you know, it doesn't hardly matter, does it? Not much. Now, there may come a time when it does, but for us, it doesn't change our lives a whole lot, right? We argue and fight and beat each other up and do all kinds of stuff for 2 years while the election's going on. Person gets in, and guess what? My life doesn't change very much, you know. And it was the same in Israel. If a king was evil, guess what happens? New leadership comes, they just continue the easy path. Sometimes leadership agrees with the present practices, doesn't it? And sometimes leadership doesn't have the courage needed to make the changes to cause the kingdom to be different. Okay? That's an interesting statement, isn't it? Here's a king. I know I need to. Well, take this man right here, Baasha. Had he gotten rid of the house of Jeroboam? Yeah. He completely destroyed the house of Jeroboam. And yet what does he do? He walks in the ways of Jeroboam. My question to him is why? Why did you do that? You saw what happened to Jeroboam and you knew exactly why, because God said why, didn't He? Because you've sinned. And yet now he walks in his ways. Do you just think these are the right things to do, or do you just not have the courage to make the changes in Israel that need to be made? Because guess what, folks? When you make changes, people are going to hate you. Isn't that true? They're going to despise you. And especially if you're going from wickedness to righteousness, they're really going to what? They're really going to despise you. True or false? Baasha made Israel to sin and provoked the Lord to anger. True. And has made my people Israel to sin to provoke me to anger with their sins. Regardless of how much time passes, and regardless of the individual engaged in the sin, the Lord is angered and is provoked by those who practice iniquity. Doesn't matter who it is, right? Doesn't matter whatsoever. What was God going to take away from Baasha? Yes, Their posterity. Behold, I will take away the posterity of Baasha and the posterity of his house. Posterity. We don't use that word very much, do we? You know? Have y'all ever told your children about their posterity? Have you ever told your children about your posterity? They say, I don't need to know about your health issues. Okay, well, has nothing to do with that, does it?
Yeah, the old saying I used to hear was, I put you in this world and I'll take you out.
So true. Posterity. Strong defines the word posterity as after. That's all it says. That's the definition, after. Isn't that interesting? Brown, Driver, and Briggs, that which comes after, that which follows after. The children and the children's children are their posterity. Are they not? Behold, I will take away the posterity, the children, and the children's children of Baasha, and all of his house. Wow. You think he had sons and daughters? Oh, yeah. Did they have posterity? Did they have children that followed after them? Oh, yes. All of them would be what? Taken away. Whose house was God going to make Baasha's like unto? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. And I will make thy house like unto the house of Jeroboam the son of Nebat. And guess what? Baasha knew exactly what had happened to the house of Jeroboam because he caused it to happen. Didn't he? He is the one who destroyed that house and everything in it. And now all of a sudden, God's staying the same. What happened to Jeroboam that you did is going to happen to you. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. What was going to happen to Baasha's descendants who died in the city? Eaten by dogs. He that dieth of Baasha in the city shall the dogs eat. Have we heard that before? Of whom? Jeroboam. Isn't that something? Unbelievable. What was going to happen to Baasha's descendants who died in the fields? The birds would eat. The birds would eat. Again, those words were prophesied of Jeroboam. Here's a man walking fully and completely in the ways of Jeroboam, isn't he? And guess what? He's going to experience the exact same end. Right? Folks, if you want a different outcome, you have to what? You have to do differently, don't you? You have to do differently. Where were the acts of Baasha recorded? Yes, in the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel. And the rest of the acts of Baasha and what he did and his might. Isn't that something? Because these men were not what? They're not just little bitty nothings. Okay? These were powerful individuals. Okay? And their reigns exhibited power. His might even was recorded. Are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel? Where was Baasha buried? And Baasha slept with his fathers and was buried in Tirzah. Okay, he was buried in Tirzah. This had become the capital. This had become the city of the palace of the kings of the northern empire, wouldn't it? Isn't it a shame that they weren't buried where? In Jerusalem, in the city of God. Okay, they weren't buried there. They weren't righteous individuals whatsoever. Who reigned in his stead? Elah, his son, reigned in his stead. Guess what Elah means? Anybody look it up? An oak. O-A-K, an oak. Okay? An oak. Is an oak a strong tree? Can an oak be a big, tall tree? Yes, absolutely. There's some big ones in the south, aren't there? And so here's a man, and his name means oak. What was the name of the prophet who had the word of the Lord come to him that was against Baasha? Jehu. Again, he just emphasizes it again, doesn't he, that Jehu had come to him. And also by the hand of the prophet Jehu, the son of Hananiah, came the word of the Lord against Baasha and against his house. So he's recorded in the all his works are recorded, and then the prophet emphasizes again, and Jehu came and prophesied against him. He's not going to let us forget that this man has been judged and pronounced guilty by God Almighty. Okay? What two things provoked the Lord to anger against Baasha? Okay? Even for all the evil that he did in the sight of the Lord. In provoking him to anger with the works of his hands. And being like the house of Jeroboam. So there's the first evil, right? And because he killed him. Who is that? Who did he kill? Yes, remember he killed Nadab. In order to get the what? In order to get the throne. Did he not? Slew that man. Okay, so he's killed an innocent man, conspired against him in order to get the kingdom. And guess what? God doesn't forget evil acts, does he? Baasha was an evil man. In what year of Asa, the king of Judah, did Elah reign over Israel? Yes, in the 26th year of Asa, king of Judah, began Elah, the son of Baasha, to reign over Israel in Tirzah. Okay, so Asa's still what? He's still sitting on the throne, isn't he? A lot of kings are coming and going in the northern kingdom. There Asa is, just perched up there, doing his thing in Judah. How long did he reign over Israel?
2 years.
2 years. Elah, the son of Baasha, to reign over Israel in Tirzah. 2 years. Was that a long reign? Very short reign, wasn't it? Some of these men reigned 20, 25, 30 years. But this one was a very short reign of only 2 years. Who was the captain of Elah's chariots? Zimri. Wow. And his servant Zimri, captain of half his chariots. That makes me want to ask, who was the other one? I don't know, but I do know this one was over half of his chariots, was he not? Anybody look up his name, Zimri? I got interested in these names when I started looking up. Oak. And Zimri means this, my music. My music. That's an interesting name for an individual, isn't it? Do you think the captain of a chariot was a pretty powerful force? Yeah. He's a commander, is he not? He's a commander within the king's army. And folks, that is a powerful position, isn't it? Put you near who? Near the king. Do you think he spoke with the king often about military tactics and things that needed to be done militarily? You think he may have had more knowledge than the king did of some of those things? Oh, yes. He knows, doesn't he? So, these individuals oftentimes begin to develop a sense of self-importance, don't they? A sense of self-worth. I'm valuable to the king. And they may even think what? Yeah, I am smarter than the king. I do a better job than the king. And I can take over the role of a king. The very minute you became a king in Israel or Judah, you didn't want to be one. Okay? That was a dangerous... You just shortened your life expectancy. Okay? As far as the possibility of life expectancy. You didn't know what was going to happen to you. Is it that way in many nations today? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Go study some of the lives of some of the dictators that are in our world, folks. And read about the security detail that they have. Read about some of the weird things that they do because they're scared to death to get out very far because they're scared even their own people will turn against them. Okay? They don't even know whether their brothers and sisters are faithful to them. It's a scary, scary position. Okay? Very, very interesting. True or false? Zimri conspired against Elah. True, and conspired against him. Where was Elah when Zimri conspired against him? As he was in Tirzah, drinking himself drunk. Don't you love that? Drinking himself drunk in the house of Arza, steward of his house in Tirzah. Man. This helps us to understand some of the fleshly indulgences that were enjoyed by many of the kings of Israel and sometimes Judah themselves. Okay? Drinking himself what? Drunk. True or false? Drunkenness is productive to the position of a king. False. I'm glad I didn't hear a true. We'd have to bring that person in here and have a class on drunkenness, would we not? What happens when a person gets drunk? Okay? Alters the mind, right? But in what ways? You forget? Not alert? Do things you wouldn't do. What's that? Decision making is impaired. Okay? Good stuff. Yeah. For some reason, y'all know a lot about this. You know? I hope it's by being taught and not experienced. Okay? I can't talk because I got 3 points in my notes. Inhibitions are lowered, aren't they? Okay? That's the reason you would do things that you normally would never do. Okay? Number 2. His reasoning abilities are greatly diminished, right? He isn't thinking the way he would normally think. He's thinking crazy thoughts, different thoughts than he normally would because his reasoning is not there. Okay? Can I jump off this building and land? Sure I can. Even though it's 400 feet down. His demeanor becomes depressed because alcohol is a depressant, isn't it? Oh yes, he may feel good for a couple of hours. Let him wake up the next day, right? And guess what he is not in? He ain't in a good mood. And they didn't have Tylenol. Okay? Happy drunks and me. Yep, there are 2 different kinds. Turn over to Proverbs 31. Last Sunday was our question and answers Sunday, wasn't it? Y'all remember that? Or is it too far back? And we had a question that was asked about King Lemuel. Do y'all remember that? Not the mule, Lemuel. Okay, King Lemuel. And he is the author of chapter 31 of the book of Proverbs. And remember, he says that this is a prophecy that was taught him by who? By his mother. Okay? And he has an interesting statement in there about this very topic that we're talking about, doesn't he? Yeah. It is not for kings, O Lemuel. It is not for kings to drink wine, nor for princes strong drink, lest they drink and forget the laws and pervert judgment of any of the afflicted. Wow. Isn't that amazing? Here's a man doing exactly what went against what King Solomon had recorded in the book of Proverbs. You think those kings had the Proverbs available to them? Especially the Proverbs from who? From Solomon. Solomon has already reigned, has he not? He's already written his books. It is not for kings to drink wine. It is not for princes to drink strong drink. Because if you do, you'll pervert judgment. And what is this old king doing? Oh, Elah is just drinking himself drunk. Total violation of the will of God. In what year of Asa's reign did Zimri kill Elah? Okay, the 27th year of the reign of Asa. And Zimri went in and smote him and killed him in the 27th year of Asa, king of Judah, and reigned what? In his stead. You think it's easier for me to kill you when you're drunk or when you're sober? Probably when you're drunk, right? First of all, you can't wield a sword very well. And you may be so drunk that you're just in a drunken stupor over in the corner, right? And all I got to do is what? All I got to do is just stab you. And out you go. Wouldn't you like to? Well, no, I don't know about that. I don't know if I want to see that. Do you? All we know that he did. As soon as Zimri began to reign, who did he slay? Uh-oh. And it came to pass when he began to reign, as soon as he sat on his throne, that he slew all the house of Baasha. That had been predicted, hadn't it? Who had predicted that? Jehu. Wow. I wrote down a couple of lessons, just thoughts that come to my mind as I think about these texts, and one of them was this. Evil men like who? Like Zimri, they are not intent on doing the will of God, are they? So here's the point. Zimri did not slay the house of Baasha as an act of justice. Okay? He didn't do it because this was God's will. Why did he do it?
To ensure that no contender from the house of Baasha
Absolutely.
would ever come against him.
That's exactly right. Remember, Elah was what? Son of Baasha, right? So he just destroys everybody in the house of Baasha, including all those of the house of Elah, and that ensures his reign, does it not? He didn't do it to do the will of God. And then this next one, we've already pointed this out, but God can use evil intents and actions of men to execute his justice upon the world, can he? It's always amazed me. Baasha had walked in the ways of Jeroboam, thus he was to experience the same fate as who? As Jeroboam. Do we question God when he uses evil people to carry out his will? We do, don't we? You know? For some reason, we want a Jesus in the presidency, don't we? That's what we want. We want, he got to be perfect. And if he's not perfect, guess what you hear? You hear all about the imperfections, don't you? He likes alcohol. He likes women. He is a liar. All the bad stuff. And yet, folks, when God raises up men and puts them in power, he can use those men to carry out his will. And sometimes I don't know what his will is, do I? Isn't that amazing? And we see that all the time in the book of the Kings especially. God raising up evil people. Who was it that carried away the children of Israel into 70 years of captivity? Good people? No. Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. An arrogant, haughty, immoral king to do the will of God. But the difference is what? God will always punish the evil, won't he? Who am I to question God? Did God punish Nebuchadnezzar? Oh, yeah. Dutch?
When have we ever read prior to this that God used a candy cane when the Israelites were nine? He opened up the earth. He struck down those that touched the ark. They were doing what they thought was
it's not a matter of necessarily just not doing. Here's the matter: is he takes a nation more wicked than his people and punishes them. That to us confuses us, doesn't it? How can you take a Nebuchadnezzar to punish who is just as wicked as he can be, to punish his children who are doing wickedness, yes. But Nebuchadnezzar is even more wicked than they are. He's not even a member of the covenant, is he?
Because we can conquer Nebuchadnezzar when we are on the side of God, when the light is on our side. It's when we extinguish that light or push it away as Jeroboam, that the light is not with us, that the worst. And I guess we just can't wrap our head around that.
We just can't.
We did it to ourselves.
Trying to understand God's method of doing things. How?
Yeah, didn't he use Pharaoh for his purposes then?
Oh, yes. Absolutely. Constantly. Russell?
Nebuchadnezzar did come around to praising God, though.
Well, after God took care of him. God had to take care of him first, you know. And unbelievable. True or false? All but one were left of the house of Baasha. That's false, folks. None were left. Which prophet had foretold that the house of Baasha would be destroyed? Jehu. I just wrote this lesson. It took time for the words of the prophet to come true, but regardless of the amount of time that it takes for a promise of God to be fulfilled, it will be fulfilled. You can bank on it. True or false? The destruction of Baas's house was due to Baas's sins and the sins of Eli's son? True. Ready for this lesson? Sin has consequences, doesn't it? Sin has consequences. In blank, the Lord God of Israel to blank with their blank. In provoking the Lord God of Israel to anger with their vanities. Anybody look up the word vanities? Nobody. Oh. See, if I don't ask you to do it, you don't do it. Strong says emptiness or vanity. Something transitory, unsatisfactory. Turn over to 1 Samuel for just a minute. You'll see this where this word vanities comes in. 1 Samuel 12, 20 and 21. And Samuel said unto the people, Fear not. Ye have done all this wickedness. Yet turn not aside from following the Lord, but serve the Lord with all your heart, and turn ye not aside. For then ye should go after vain things, here it is, which cannot profit, nor deliver, for they are vain. Okay? Folks, there is nothing else in the world that can truly profit our lives except who? Except God. He's the only one. A false God can't do it. I can't do it for myself, right? The only one who is truly profitable for my life is the Almighty God. Where were all the acts of Eli and all that he did recorded? In the books of the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel. Wow. Good stuff. We got a lot of turnover, don't we? A lot of turnover. Keep reading.